JoJo Siwa. Even just saying her name elicits a involuntary response from your body, having your face kind of like crumple up like you just ate a warhead or something really sour. Because you always know when JoJo Siwa's name comes up in conversation, it's something embarrassing. Now, I will say, on my short list of idols, she does make it into the top 5 because I think she is truly the best dog shit dancer this species has ever produced. And I am a big enthusiast of bad dancing, so her classic Karma's a Bitch Seizure, as well as her guilty pleasure Stinky Treasure dance routine here. This whole one is a masterpiece because there's not a single move here that looks good. Especially this finale, this is by far my favorite part, where it's kind of like some kind of monster walk. That's like a walk cycle a rubber hose cartoon would use when a villain shows up to the scene. But the point is, I love bad dancing, and no one does it worse than she does. Many of you know, I'm actually somewhat of a pioneer myself, the creator of the classic Where's My Hug At? And I've actually been in the lab cooking some new stuff. I don't have a name for this yet, but it kind of combines the Habbo Hotel dance animation with a little bit of like robotic Roomba maneuvers, so you can do like little circles with it. But I'm already getting lost in the sauce. I'm not here to talk about JoJo Siwa's dancing, I'm here to talk about her scamming. You can now pay $900 for the VIP package to be an unpaid roadie for JoJo Siwa. If that sounds familiar, it's because Gene Simmons just announced this exact same deal for $12,500. I made a video on that like 2 weeks ago. So JoJo Siwa really just took a page out of Gene fucking Simmons' playbook here. It's almost one-to-one. She copied Gene Simmons' homework. So here's what you get for the VIP package. The Dream Guest Experience. You get 1 general admin ticket. You can watch the show from any designated audience area of your choice. You get an exclusive invitation to JoJo's live show setup before Q&A and soundcheck with JoJo. You get to help her put together the show with song selection input, which I'm just going to call fucking barnacles on because there's no way she's going to let any goober who pays $900 for this get to have any say in what she performs. Like, this is definitely already pre-selected shit. An exclusive autograph of JoJo memorabilia worn during the show, so you'll get to wear her sweaty clothes that she performed in. Yeehaw. Access to her pre-show sound check and a Q&A. A pre-show meet and greet and a photo opportunity in front of the VIP backdrop, so that way everyone will know you wasted $900 so they can shoot spitballs at you and make fun of you. VIP exclusive merch, a commemorative VIP laminate and lanyard, early entry into the building with priority access, pre-show merch and shopping opportunity, a VIP host. So you're not just working for free, unpaid labor, you are paying to have the privilege of working for free for JoJo as a roadie. It's a beautiful scam, it really is, and I actually think there will be people that make this purchase. I just have a strong hunch that there actually will be some pitiful souls out there spending $900 to get fucking shit-stained breeches that JoJo wore during the show and setting up the show for her for free. But maybe I'm just being a Scrooge. Let's hear it from JoJo herself as she tries to sell us on this dream VIP package experience, because maybe there's more to it than meets the eye.
I mean, there's so much to tease. I am really excited because I wanted to create a show that wasn't just a concert, right? I have all these songs that I love to sing, but I was like, I want to do something more. I want to create, a party environment. I want to create something that feels very, immersive, interactive, intimate. And so I really did that with this show. And so, you're going to get the concert that you want to see, right? But then...
How innovative. Making a concert into a big party. AKA... what concerts kind of already are in the first place. This is a bunch of mumbo-jumbo here. This is gobbledygook. Like, you're just describing a concert. I just went to a Deftones concert. That shit was a great big party. It was a lot of fun. I don't exactly know what she's going to do to make it more of a party. I guess maybe she'll toss a beach ball around that everyone can start hitting, and maybe she'll, like, plant kegs and beer pong tables and flip cup around there. Like, I have no idea what she's doing to make it more of a party. I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you she so desperately wants to be unique, and it is so cringe how hard she tries to stand out with like weird fashion choices, like really off the wall stuff. She does it on purpose, leaning into it full well knowing people make fun of her for it. But it's just, to me, kind of sad how hard she wants to be viewed as, like, really quirky and zany for the things that she wears when she performs and stuff. So, like, in here, she's got, like the football pads on. I don't even really know what that is. It looks like the armor the Saiyans wore, like, when Nappa and Vegeta came down and met Goku for the first time. But, like, if it was set in the My Little Pony universe instead of Dragon Ball.
There's going to be a DJ set run by me. There's going to be an interactive game with the audience where they have a chance to win a sick prize.
It's going to be beyond sick. It's going to be dope. I have no doubt that prize is going to go ballistic. It'll be like a fucking half-eaten Subway sandwich that she had for lunch that she'll toss into the crowd if you complete her, like, trivia game or whatever she's going to play with the audience.
And I read that there is a chance for fans to get close and personal with you.
There is.
What can you tell us?
There's one, and this is the, like, most exclusive VIP, where you actually are going to get to come during while we're, like, loading in the show, and you're going to get to kind of, like, help us set it up and make sure things are right and test out, you know, the drum with me or the DJ booth with me. You're going to kind of...
You're describing a job, JoJo. This is labor. You're supposed to be paid for these things, not pay for the privilege of doing them for you for free. It's an interesting proposition. Gene Simmons really did just blow open a whole new door for insufferable assholes to exploit their fans here for these VIP packages. I don't know if this was common before Gene Simmons, but I'm pretty confident JoJo saw that from Gene and said, I want to do that. Like, I feel like that's where this spawned from. That's just a hunch, though.
Get that. Then we're doing another one where you just get an exclusive backstage tour. We're doing this fun thing where you get a little bit of show memorabilia. So there's different things that are used within the show that we will replace every night. And so we will give that to those top tier. We're calling them dream guests on my show. Like dream guests on my podcast, but dream guests on my show.
The title makes sense. These are dream guests. These are the most brainwashed drones you could find that will actually pay you tons of money to work for you for nothing in return. I guess, other than, of course, maybe like some grease-stained clothes that were worn during the performance. That's enough, I guess. But, yeah, hearing her describe it, I'm still not sold on the value. Still don't think that's worth 900 clams to go work for free for the JoJo Siwa tour. Now, I got a little curious. She is coming to Tampa, and I was tempted to buy the $900 package just to see what that's like. I wouldn't pay $12,500 to move around Gene Simmons' oxygen tank and get fucking coffee for him while he berates me and demands that I change his diaper. But I would consider paying $900 to help set up JoJo Siwa's song selection and fucking, I don't know, the sound check and bring in all the equipment or whatever else was described there. Like, that would almost be worth it as a joke, but I don't think I'll actually do it. It just seems like the joke immediately loses its luster when I show up there and just get put to work. Like, I paid for this package. Now I'm working fucking 6 hours or 8 hours, however long it is to set this up. And then all I get to do is listen to music I don't like. She doesn't have a single song that I could even, like, wiggle my finger to. And I get cursed with some kind of special grade cursed item that she wore during the performance. Like, it just... The idea of it is silly, like paying to do that as a joke. But actually doing it, I would be so ashamed. But I just wanted to mention, I looked it up, she is coming to Tampa, and I thought about it for a second. So yeah, I think this is a terrible VIP package. I don't think it's a good idea, I'll be honest with you. That's really about it. So yeah. One of my favorite new lolcows, the Gadoosh god Wes Watson, has just had a crazy development in his lore as he continues to spiral. He has become an impressive clown. Now, I made a video a little over a month ago kind of bringing you all up to speed on the story, the anime arc of Wes Watson. The sensitive Sigma Watson does your standard guru scamming tactics where he sells these garbage classes and courses on how to be a multi-millionaire who gets more ass than a toilet seat, and he sells this invaluable knowledge for thousands upon thousands of dollars, preying upon gullible, desperate men who look at videos of Wes Watson's fake lifestyle and rented mansion with stars in their eyes, thinking they're only one Zoom meeting away from achieving that for themselves. So they toss their wallet at the computer screen, hoping to latch on to Wes Watson's juiced-out bosom to suckle a bit of success from it. And he drains their piggy bank, and they say thank you for it. They get nothing in return, but Wes Watson gets very rich off of his little pay piggies. That's the whole scam. We all know how it works. But what makes Wes Watson so special is that he's not afraid to show his sensitive side. He is constantly arguing with Redditors and people on Instagram, so he directly messages pretty much everyone who makes fun of him, and it's what makes him such an entertaining clown. So the video I made talking about gadooshing, well, that came from him, because he was talking about how Redditors were gadooshing him. It's just so entertaining listening to him bitch and moan and rant and spiral into lunacy, but he did recently find himself in a serious situation, which is what we're here to talk about today. He has some charges filed against him, if you can believe that. He already spent 10 years in the slammer before, where he'd brag about how flexible his asshole was hooping his paperwork, and Wes, it's looking like you might need to start getting back on those Kegels. You might need to start working out that sphincter again, because these charges are serious. It's always the people you least expect, huh?
Where's the police report? Are there charges being pressed, right? Well, I have it all, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna go over it with you. This is an open case. I'm working on the full footage, censoring it in a way so I don't get in legal trouble, and I'm gonna put it out on here, and then later, when I can actually release the whole thing, I'm gonna put it on X uncensored, when I'm allowed to.
Last time I was goofing on Whiny Watson, I also briefly mentioned John Bravo. John Bravo has a channel that has done extremely good coverage on Wes Watson's embarrassing descent into madness. And John Bravo has a great video here where he is going over the footage to the best of his ability, as well as the police report from Wes Watson and his group of lobotomites' assault on someone that actually took up Wes Watson's common challenge of fighting him. So, let me go ahead and tell you how we got here, the context. About a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago, there was footage, as well as Wes Watson's testimonials about this, that someone had confronted him at the gym. A 7-foot monster is what he was referred to as, and Wes Watson beat his ass. And there was like some stills that floated around, but no one had like the full picture, and some people were calling it fake. Well, John Bravo did some digging, and he got all of the footage, which he is saying he's going to release the full uncensored version once he's able to make sure that he's not going to get in trouble for it, and also has the police report, which he goes over in this video, which we will also go over as well.
The first thing I want you guys to see, I have to obviously black out the person's name, the police report number. See where it says disposition pending? That means the case is open, all right? And the other thing I'm going to tell you ahead of time is I'm going to go to the bottom and read you one part, then I'm going to go back to the start, okay? Because I know a lot of people are impatient. They want to watch 3 seconds and leave, okay? When the victim was asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes. And he was jumped by multiple people and was not just a 1 versus 1 battle.
Now, the gist of it is, the reason the 7-foot monster was there in the first place is because he went there to actually take up Wes Watson on his challenge. Wes Watson has been wishing for hair for many, many moons now, but the only wish that's actually being granted is someone actually taking him up on this. So the 7-foot monster shows up, and Wes Watson doesn't actually fight him one-on-one. So he actually just gets ganged up on by Wes and 3 of his buddies who are hitting him with dumbbells, weight belts, and it's just brutal. And imagine being that pathetic worm that flexes about this, because Wes Watson was making it sound like he was some kind of hero and this was all self-defense. He made it sound like he fought this guy with the Knight's Code of Honor. Like a 1v1 pugilistic fisticuffs, the old-fashioned way. That's a load of fucking barnacles right there. That's just fanfic, because what actually happened is Wes Watson got to hide behind his friends and they just ganged up on this guy. Imagine being such a pitiful fucking vermin that you challenge someone to a fight and then bring 3 other dudes with you to help fight that guy with you. It's so cringe, which is Wes Watson in a nutshell.
The suspect stated the victim walked up to him stating he wanted to fight. The suspect stated they began to fight verbally and then escalated to physical. The victim stated he doesn't know who the victim is and he never seen him before. When asked if he wanted to press charges, he said no, this is Wes Watson. They asked him if he wants to press charges. Wes Watson says no, and he never seen him before. Units then spoke to the victim, the 7-foot monster, who stated he was told by the suspect to come fight him via Instagram. We know how Wes challenges all of us on Instagram. He did it to me, the piece of shit, but I knew not to go in because his goons, security, and his bullshit weapons pulling out the shit out of the purse.
I love the way John Bravo calls him a piece of shit all the time. He also calls him Peg Watson pretty often, and it just always makes me giggle just listening to him always slide in, you piece of shit, to Wes Watson. But anyway, what he is describing here was Wes Watson saying, like, he didn't know the suspect he was working out. This guy came over and said he wants to fight him. Well, the reason he came over and said he wants to fight him is because Wes Watson had challenged him, and he actually showed the Instagram messages that confirmed, yep, this was like a prearranged thing where Wes does the standard Wes thing of saying, come fight me. And the guy showed up, he said, bet, I'm here to fight. So he walked over to him, they had like a really brief verbal back and forth, and the victim did give him like a little shove, but to me it looks like he backed off, looking to try and de-escalate things. I think he wasn't really there to fight. I think he was there more just to confront a bully. I think that's what he was doing, because it doesn't look like he went over there to try and just beat Wes Watson's ass out of nowhere. Like, he didn't throw any sucker punches or anything from the footage that's been released. He goes over there, it's a verbal back and forth, and then he gives him like a little shove and then steps away. And then after he does that, that's when Wes Watson and his boys just go ballistic on him. Wes Watson strikes him in the face with a weight belt multiple times, and then all hell breaks loose.
When units looked at the victim's phone, it shows the victim messaging the suspect to fight him. The victim then stated he went to the gym to confront the suspect. So now we have the motive. So he wanted to go to the gym and fight Wes because Wes has been challenging all of us to come there. So he went to fight him. But I don't think he knew it wasn't a one-on-one battle with Mr. Peg Watson.
It wasn't even a battle at all. It was checkmate before the game even started because Wes was traveling with 3 of his friends that were using weapons to defend Wes Watson, even though there wasn't really a threat to defend him from, at least not in my eyes. So like that initial shove, that is instigating for sure. I get that. They're in a verbal argument, but after the shove, he backs off. And it doesn't look like he ever planned on like striking at Wes until the weight belt hits him in the head twice. They then get into a verbal argument, and then he kind of like falls forward at Wes Watson. Maybe he's kind of lunging at him, but it also looks like his friend hit him with a dumbbell and it sent him forward, so it's kind of hard to tell. But what is irrefutable is that after that lunge, he falls to the ground, and then Wes and his friends hit him with dumbbells and weight belts for a very long period of time, and it ends with the victim kind of hunched over like this on the ground, all bloodied and bruised, and Wes Watson comes out of nowhere with a soccer kick to the fucking skull. That is a move that kills people. That is oftentimes fatal. And according to John Bravo in the full footage, there are 4 or 5 soccer kicks to the head of this guy.
Wes Watson, the victim stated they got in a verbal fight, which escalated to physical. The victim was stating that he was hit by a belt and then jumped by multiple people and hit by weights. When asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes. He was jumped by multiple people and it wasn't versus one. After reviewing CCTV footage of the incident, so the cops watched the CCTV footage, the victim places his phone down next to a weight machine as if he was attempting to record the encounter.
So he obviously recorded this knowing full well that he wanted to film his confronting of Wes Watson. So now we know why it was being recorded. It wasn't like a staged thing, which is what a lot of people thought it might have been when this initially started to float around. It's all very real and all confirmed in the police report here.
The suspect then swings the belt towards the victim's head, appearing to hit him. The suspect and victim continue to argue verbal. The suspect then turns around and starts to walk away from the victim with his back towards the victim. The victim then rushes towards the suspect and attempts to strike the suspect in the head with his fist, but appears to miss. All right, so that portion of the footage I'm going to show you guys. So after Wes hit him with that belt 2 times, right, that asshole with the dumbbell, his butt buddy, was behind him. And I can't tell if he hit him with it or not, but it lunged him forward, and then he went back to get Wes, but he didn't even make it like a foot or 2, and Wes took him down.
It's just kind of hard to tell. He does have a dumbbell, and he does go off camera, and I can kind of see like the dumbbell on the back of the guy's shirt. So it looks like he got struck by the dumbbell, but it's hard to tell because it's censored here and I don't have the full thing yet, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. I can kind of see arguments for like, oh, the 7-foot monster started it. This is kind of on him. Wes Watson was well within his right to defend himself. That would almost work if the rest of the video footage wasn't there, which is why when Wes Watson was talking about it, he made sure you didn't see the whole picture. Because the guy is on the ground, covered up, fetal position, just trying to like protect his head, and Wes and his friends punch, kick, and strike him with weapons for an extremely long period of time, even though it's very clear this fight is over. Also, it's a fight Wes Watson himself fucking agreed to, it seems. A one-on-one. But it actually was never one-on-one, because Wes, you can't 1v1. He'll never meet you on Rust. He's always going to bring his whole crew with him. So the guy showed up for the fight with Wes, but got gangbanged instead.
The suspect instantly reacts and gets the victim on the ground and begins to strike the victim in the head and face numerous times with his hands. Yeah, I counted 45 fucking times. After the victim being hit numerous times, all you can see is the victim on his knees, protecting his face and not fighting back. His eyes were being gouged, his ponytails were being pulled. Dirty shit. He's being held down by his butt buddies. They're all taking a little lick in, a kick here, a kick there. The suspect then stopped hitting the victim, and the victim stopped protecting his face. That's that part with the kick, and attempted to stand up. The suspect then walked over and kicked the victim in the face with force. That's that soccer kick. But prior to that soccer kick, there was 4 soccer kicks, 3 or 4 hard ones to his face.
No exaggeration, that kind of kick kills people. Straight up. That has put people in the dirt thousands of times over. And this fight is clearly done. There's no more threat to Wes or his group of goofballs. There's no threat there at all. It's done. And Wes Watson comes back like a post-credit scene to deliver one more soccer kick to this man's skull, which literally could have just killed him. But I've still seen people just try and say that everything that happened here is justifiable as self-defense for Wes Watson because the guy came up to him and started it. But I just don't fully agree with that because I feel like the fight is over when 4 people are collectively beating a man with weapons on the ground. Like, I think the fight's done. There's not really a threat to defend yourself from. Also, you were the one that agreed to a 1v1 fight and then it wasn't 1v1. And also, the guy never actually even struck Wes. There's that brief moment where he kind of like lunges at him, but that's also possible he was falling after getting hit by that dumbbell. It's hard to tell. But no matter how hard you try and justify it, there's no amount of mental gymnastics that could possibly justify that final kick from Wes. Because again, he crawls away on his fucking hands and knees. This is clearly over. Wes Watson's fucking friends have even left at this point, but he still comes back around like a jump scare to deliver that soccer kick, which could have just been fatal. So there's just no way anyone, not even Saul fucking Goodman, could make a convincing argument that that still falls under self-defense. Even Wes Watson's own friends have left. And he has crawled away on his hands and knees, not even looking at you. You come back to attack him.
While he was already done, and they didn't say it in here. I'm going to show it to you guys in the footage. The victim stated at the hospital that he wants to press charges. When he was first put on the ground and stated he was telling the suspect to stop. Victim had the left side of his face very swollen lips, and was bleeding from the nose and mouth. Charges are being pressed. The case is open. I have the body cam footage coming. I have the full fight footage coming.
John Bravo goes on to explain why he's releasing all this to the public, explaining that he believes that it's a good service to allow people to form their own opinions on something like this. And I think he's absolutely right. Though I don't know how anyone could form the opinion that Wes Watson was in the right here. Again, if the whole footage didn't exist, you could maybe say that there was self-defense at play. Wes Watson feared for his life after someone accepted his challenge of fighting him one-on-one, thus they had to gangbang the guy. Okay, maybe you could stretch for something there, but I think having the rest of the footage, at least for me, has 100% solidified Wes Watson as a big bitch. He issues these challenges. Someone finally accepted it, and then Wes Watson has his 3 friends help him beat that guy's ass. And that guy never even struck Wes. At least not in any of the footage that's been released. There's that one tiny shove, and then he kind of lunges at Wes Watson, but doesn't land any punches or anything at all. Immediately covers up because 4 people are now attacking him. and 4 people immediately get ready to attack him the second that he tells Wes Watson that he's up to actually take that fight. So yeah, what a piece of shit. Big old piece of shit. Classic Wes Watson. That's really about it. So yeah. Wendy Williams is a talk show host that I've disliked for over a decade. Her show is the kind of show you'd watch a 30-second clip of and immediately ask yourself, who the fuck is watching this and how does she have an audience? Wendy Williams is addicted to 2 things, cocaine and being an insufferable asshole. She has this incredible ability to take anything in the news and give you the worst possible opinion on it. It's a fucking scientific anomaly how she's able to do this. She can't even accidentally say something respectful. Like when Jennifer Lawrence's nudes were hacked and leaked on the internet, she insulted Jennifer Lawrence for it, you know, the classic victim blaming thing of, well, if you didn't want your nudes to be hacked, you shouldn't have taken them. I've seen them 1,000 times. Clap if you've seen Jennifer Lawrence's nudes. Is super scummy, disrespectful shit. We should all be thankful though that Wendy Williams' nudes haven't leaked, because that would have everyone canceling their internet subscriptions ASAP. But the worst part isn't just how terrible she is as a person and the awful things she's done. It's the fact that people go to her for advice. That's like going to Charles Manson for advice. For example, one lady went on her show saying that her husband doesn't want another child, but she wants another child. What should she do? Wendy Williams tells her that she should trick her husband by stopping birth control without telling him. That was her advice. It's fucking crazy what she does and what she says and the kind of negative impact she has on everyone around her. Gus Johnson recently made a video about Wendy Williams where he goes into detail on certain things, and keep in mind this is not even a quarter of the awful shit she's done. I highly recommend you check out Gus Johnson and Pay Money Wubby talk about Wendy Williams and joke about some of this. I'm not going to cover any of those. What I want to talk about and why I'm bringing it up now is because she's pulled a classic Wendy Williams by insulting a woman who was recently killed by a stalker. So I'll give you some background before I play the clip. Amy Harwick, famous Hollywood sex therapist, was recently murdered by a stalker when she was pushed from a balcony and fell to her death. She was also the ex-fiancée of Drew Carey, host of Price is Right, and in Wendy Williams' most recent segment, she makes a joke about her murder, but it can't even really be called a joke because it's more just her insulting Amy's death and Drew Carey. It's hard to explain. I'll play the clip.
She was killed not by Drew, but by the ex. Come on down. Why are you putting allegedly? This story's everywhere. All right, lawyer lady, she threw allegedly in there.
A real gut buster there, Wendy. Yahoo! What a side splitter. The audience reaction really says it all. Utter silence and groans of disappointment. But then the audience is so fucking stupid they go right back to applauding once she talks about allegedly being thrown in there. I don't know. The audience at Wendy Williams shows are just as bad as she is. They're so fucking stupid. I can't stand the audience. These people clap for cheating. They clap when Wendy Williams insults Terry Crews for coming forward about sexual assault. I mean, the audience sucks just as much as Wendy Williams does. But this one, even they couldn't mindlessly clap for a second, which is incredible. I've never seen that before on this fucking awful television show. I just really don't even get how it could have even been misconstrued as a joke, because there's nothing in there that seems like it was supposed to be comedic. It just seems like it was supposed to be mean and remind Drew Carey that his wife was murdered. It doesn't even make sense. Come on down is an iconic line from Price is Right, and I guess her joke was she fell to her death. Come on down. Wow, Wendy. That's really something special you've got there. You sick fuck. She looks like she died 10 years ago, but is being kept alive through some forbidden spell. Her eyes seem lifeless. They're fucking blasted wide open every second she's on TV. Her nose looks caved in like a goddamn skeleton. I don't understand how Wendy Williams can even think for a moment she has room to make jokes about anyone's appearance, their personal choices, or anything at all for that matter. She is an awful person, top to bottom, inside and out, and I can't fucking stand Wendy Williams. Wendy has only ever done one thing in her entire career that wasn't incredibly terrible. It was when she blasted a creamy fart into her panties on her television show.
Room thing. That cop wasn't playing that. I mean, You're lucky you only got battery.
This is the only good thing you've ever done in your entire existence, Wendy, and it was by total accident, which I guess is poetic. You can't even purposely do something almost remotely positive. Your asshole stepped in and did something nice for your shitty career. It's incredible, though. She is actually the first talk show host I'm aware of that has soiled their panties on stage, just caked in a wet mess. So I guess there's history to be made there for you, Wendy. This is your legacy. You're the first talk show host to shit themselves on TV. And that really should be your legacy. That's about all the good you've ever done, and likely ever will do, because you don't have even the most basic amount of empathy or decency. You're a terrible person and a terrible talk show host that is an awful influence on everyone that comes in contact with you. That's about it. So yeah. There's always been one thing that I've believed to be true, and so far no one's been able to prove otherwise. It's that people that gloat about how kind they are the biggest assholes. I think it takes a very conceited douchebag to brag about how nice they are. And you know exactly what kind of people I'm talking about, the ones that can't shut the fuck up about every single good deed they do, no matter how trivial. Oh, well, actually, I'm a better person than you because, in fact, on my way to work today, I saw a lizard on the side of the road, and I pulled over my car, and I started petting the lizard, gentle pets, and fed it some grapes to help ease its anxiety. And I put the lizard in my car, drove to work, and I gave it a loving household in my cubicle. No. I'm no saint, I just happen to be one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Those kind of people that just make everything good they do seem so fake and disingenuous where it just seems like it's points on a scorecard to them and things to use in a conversation to make themselves feel superior to others. I just think that shit sucks, and there's no better example of this than Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres' whole career and brand image is centered around the idea that she is a kind person. And I've never believed that. I've seen plenty of clips where she's just a passive-aggressive asshole to her guest, and in fact just outright mean to a lot of guests she's had on in the past. For example, Mariah Carey forcing her to admit that she's pregnant on her show by coercing her to drink champagne on her show so she can't hide the pregnancy.
Is that people are saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors.
Don't discuss that.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
No,
answer.
that's okay. No, honestly,
you
how
don't
do
have to
I-
answer. Let's just toast with champagne and decide.
But
if,
they've been saying that.
You want to taste it?
I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen.
What? No.
Are you trying
I'm
to
not
just-
going to ask you if you're pregnant
This
or not.
is
I'm just
peer
going to say.
pressure.
No. Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, then we
Oh
should.
my goodness.
You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You are pregnant.
Mariah Carey had a miscarriage 3 weeks after this, and as you can see, Ellen DeGeneres' full kindness on display here by forcing her to tell everyone that she's pregnant through this little science experiment she set up here. This fucking little saw trap to try and get her to finally, once and for all, spill it and let everyone know that she's pregnant, even though it's none of Ellen DeGeneres' fucking business. But Ellen DeGeneres, being the narcissist she is, has to know everything and has to feel like she's the most superior person in the room. Why am I talking about Ellen DeGeneres? Well, I've never liked Ellen DeGeneres, not just because she's an asshole, but I think her show sucks. And over the last month or so, the internet's been ass-blasted with Ellen DeGeneres truth bombs about what it's like to work with Ellen and what it's like to even be near her. She treats everyone around her terribly according to most people that have ever even encountered her by accident. Shit, from some of the things I read, if a kid with a broken arm found Ellen DeGeneres at a donut shop and asked for an autograph on the cash, she'd probably slap him and spit in their face. She just seems like a really terrible person to associate with according to everyone that has had the misfortune of associating with her. And her workplace environment has been called toxic by everyone that's fucking worked there. And apparently it's filled with racism as well, according to a lot of the reports. So things aren't looking too great for Ellen DeGeneres' be kind image, when she seems to be one of the most not kind people in the space. I think talk shows suck. I've already talked about Wendy Williams' show and everything I dislike about that, and I thought it was only fair I talk about Ellen's show because it's just as bad, if not worse, because she parades around like she's some gift from God to bring salvation to this planet through her kind, generous acts. Which seems pretty far from the truth, and she's being investigated for these workplace environment claims as well as like other bullying things that are coming to light with all this. Keep in mind these are all just claims, but they're from current and former employees, and if she really is so incredibly kind, I can't imagine why everyone would have a coordinated effort to attack her and the environment. So they probably do have some weight, but again, it's not proven. It's not like the people that have worked on the Ellen DeGeneres set would go in there and it looks like some shit out of a horror movie where there's fucking bodies hanging from meat hooks and shit, mangled corpses everywhere because it's that evil. But it does seem like an absolutely terrible place to work with actual bad shit going on. But again, they are just claims at the moment. Even if all those claims turn out to be completely false, I still wouldn't like Ellen. I don't like her show. She'll publicly shame people in her audience. She's very rude a lot of times. And I don't get a smile on my face in the few times that I've tried watching the show. She's like a pioneer, though. I will give her that. She basically invented shitty TikTok dancing comedy before TikTok existed. Half of Ellen's shtick that I can see, besides the fake being kind garbage, is that she does goofy dances, baby! And that's like supposed to be a big root of the ha-has in her show, which I'm just not really too big of a fan of. But all in all, it just seems like a terrible place to work according to employees and a terrible thing to be on according to guests. For example, a YouTuber named Nikki Tutorials went on Ellen's show, was very excited to go on the show, and then she went on another show later and insinuated she kind of fucking hated the Ellen show. She wasn't overly happy about the experience. And that kind of coincides with what a lot of the other guests have said as well from what I've read so far. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about all this because I talked about Wendy Williams and it only made sense to talk about Ellen DeGeneres' show as well. So that's about it. If they do end up firing Ellen DeGeneres from her position on the show, I'm more than willing to step in and take up the mantle. We can totally rebrand that shit. I have a fucking whole closet full of unimaginable amounts of sex toys. We could bring celebrities on. We could slap each other with rubber vaginas. It could be a good old hoot and a holler, a real good time. So if you're watching Warner Brothers, at least consider it. That's about it. See ya. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I have been glued to everything involving Will Smith over the last couple weeks since his slap at the Oscars. That slap was like a second Big Bang, but instead of creating a universe, it created a window for everyone to look into an absolutely awful toxic marriage. And not only that, it's like open Pandora's box, but the only thing in that box was cuckoldry and sadness. Will Smith has been catching L's like Pokemon. Every single day is Christmas, but the only gift Santa brings us is more embarrassing stories about Will Smith or his marriage. One that still lives rent-free in my head is the time Will Smith, in an interview, said that he used to vomit after orgasming as a psychosomatic response. What a banger of an interview. So Will, how's your marriage? Yeah, I come and puke. Takes his mic off and walks away. Amazing. There's Will Smith with the puking, coming, and shitting statement. Thank you. Now, this was pre-slap. This was not the post-slap era. We're now living in a post-slap society, PS. So this is one PS. And since that slap, more and more stories have been coming out about how awful his marriage is with his wife. Like whether it's his wife saying she never wanted to marry him in the first place, which again, I don't know why you'd ever fucking say that. That's just such a mean thing to say, and especially make a public statement about it. Or his wife just absolutely steamrolling his ass, just dump trucking him about the slap, saying that she doesn't really support it and wasn't really happy about the slap. Like, she is just absolutely taking Will and cooking his ass. It is sad to see. It is just fucking painful at this point. Now, recently this video came out where Jada Pinkett Smith, his wife, was filming him without his permission. You can just see how defeated and uncomfortable this guy looks. This was from 2019, so this was again pre-slap, BS, before slap era. But it is still just such a sad look at an awful, awful relationship.
You know Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please.
This reminds me of that scene from the movie Hitch where Will Smith says, "I saw that going differently in my mind." Like, it's the same energy as this right here, but in reality. So his wife just starts recording him and trying to make him like dance like a puppet to, promote whatever she's trying to talk about. I'm not really sure the full context, to be honest, but it's about how someone helped their marriage, but she's doing it without Will's permission and his consent to film, which is obviously an intrusion. That's not okay. That's just violating his personal space and his privacy. He clearly didn't want to be on camera for this, but she doesn't respect boundaries, as evident from the time when she sat him down on her show to tell him about her entanglement with other men, right to his face, just talking about the cheating and making light of it. And Will is very clearly like upset, nearly crying about it, but she just keeps going and pushing it. And you can see that it's not just like something she does for her show. It seems like it's something that translates to their actual household. I'm becoming fully parasocial in this Will Smith relationship now. Will Smith is a fucking weirdo. This whole family is weird. There's nothing I'm trying to defend here. I'm just watching as a spectator and trying to wrap my head around this absolutely wacky and wild season of the Will Smith household.
I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just...
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
God, that seems absolutely fucking miserable where your wife is also playing the paparazzi, so you're just never safe. You could just at any moment end up on fucking Instagram live stream or whatever this was without you having any prior knowledge of it and just embarrassed. I can't even for 1 second think of a possible reason why she'd even film this and post it. This is just straight up delusional. It seems like it was supposed to be like a promotional piece for her upcoming episode with a guest that supposedly helped their marriage. But that marriage is not looking that healthy. Will Smith looks like he's trying to come up with a plan to fake his own death to get out of this marriage easier. Whatever wounds she was talking about being healed thanks to this person have clearly not healed. She has been scammed. It's like a fucking crypto scam here. Those wounds have not been healed. It seems like only salt has been poured on those wounds, like a jellyfish sting, and the only thing they've done for it is piss all over it. It's not getting any better. This looks awful. And it seems like it was supposed to promote her upcoming episode, but this did the opposite. It just made the person she's bringing on look like a fucking idiot if she was at all responsible for what you're seeing in this clip here. It just blows my mind. I don't really know what Jada Pinkett Smith's show is about. The only clips I've ever seen from it are the ones where she's talking about how much she hates marriage and embarrasses Will on it. So it really sounds like her show is just a weekly roast of her husband. I don't really get it, but damn, every single day a new story comes out that just makes Will look fucking awful. It's just more and more awful stories surface or videos surface that showcase an absolutely brutally dysfunctional marriage and household. So yeah, I've been really keeping up with it. I can't help it at this point. I'm so invested. That slap has just been like a gateway drug, and now I'm fully addicted here. Will Smith has been banned from the Oscars for like 10 years now. I don't really know what's going on with Chris Rock. He's probably still laughing about the whole situation. But I mean, overall, that whole Oscar slap thing has just been the gift that keeps on giving if you care about celebrity drama and gossip. What a wild and wacky ride. And I'm sure even more information about Will Smith or his wife is going to come out tomorrow. Like, at this rate, it's probably going to be a new story every day because it does not seem to be slowing down. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. I have some fantastic news for all of you today. A heartwarming story so wholesome, this kind of spirit could make the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. Today, it was made clear to a lot of people that I was right all along. They're finding out what I've known since the beginning of time, that James Corden is an unentertaining asshole, whom is an absolute detriment to everything he's in. His presence makes the media that he infests worse. He is the worst part of the movies he is in. He is this miasma of unentertainment, the antithesis of fun. And today, he has been banned from a New York restaurant because he is a massive dickhead as well. Now, as you know, I've been preaching this like the gospel for years now. He's perhaps my least favorite celebrity, and I hold a personal grudge against him because he once took down a video I made tier listing his most embarrassing moments throughout his career. The video remained on my channel for about 15 minutes before it was manually taken down by his team, and I hold him personally accountable for that sin. Now, I've never met James Corden, and I've only ever heard rumors that he's insufferable to be around and pretty mean in general. I remember there was a comedy team that played a prank on him that made him like late for work, and he came across really bad there. There's also been a lot of stories from people that have either worked for him or met him where they said he was a real asshole. But to me, the biggest crime he'd ever committed in my eyes was just being cringe. I've never disliked him because of the stories I heard about him. That was just the cherry on top of how much I dislike his presence in all of the movies and shows that he somehow infests. He's just been in so much shit and makes it even worse. So let's go over the situation here today. James Corden's just one of those people where whenever I read something like revealing more about him being an asshole, I can't help but like almost celebrate a little bit, like wiggle my finger. You know, maybe I even stand up and hit a little boogie with it. Oh, what's that? The SpongeBob? Huh? Oh, James Corden's being an asshole? Oh, you don't say. Weird. It's almost like I knew it from the get-go. Whoop. Now hit him with the jerk. Now, before showing the manager reports here, I need to make it known that this has been a confirmed true story. This isn't just pulled out of someone's ass. James Corden has apologized for his actions here, and the owner of the restaurant has accepted the apology and says that he's rescinding the ban on him and he's welcome to come back. I think he should have stuck to his guns, because now the only reason he's apologizing is because of public pressure, because this became such a huge story, it went viral. It's not that James Corden is actually apologetic. He just knows that it's a PR disaster, so he's trying to save face. So here's the full statement from the owner of the restaurant. Their name is Keith McNall, and they said this about James Corden. James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian. I'm going to stop you right there, Keith. We're not even a full sentence deep, and I've just got to make a quick correction here. He's not gifted, nor would he be considered a comedian by most people. He is like the most plain, boring person you could think of, like a default character in PC. Well, regardless, he continues, a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. I don't often 86 a customer, but today I 86'd Corden. It did not make me laugh. That statement does make me laugh, though. That's just so blunt, calling him a cretin and then 86ing him, saying it didn't make him laugh. Here's two examples of the funny man's treatment of my staff. Keith is coming in here with the claws. He's fuming, and rightfully so. I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more, I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Anyone who is rude to anyone in the customer service industry, waitresses, waiters, cashiers, whatever, anyone who is a dick to them, a fucking douchebag to them, is a completely worthless piece of shit. Plain and simple. It takes a special kind of evil to mistreat someone in the service industry like that. I also haven't heard the term 86th since SpongeBob with 86 those patties, crabs. So that was kind of a cool throwback there. So let's look at manager report number 1. In June, James Corden was here on table 61. Although this is diabolical, it happens very occasionally in all restaurants. After eating his main course, Corden showed the hair to Balthazar's manager, G, who was very apologetic. Corden was extremely nasty to G and said, "Get us another round of drinks this second and also take care of all our drinks so far. This way, I write any nasty reviews in Yelp or anything like that." So this sounds like a pretty big blow up over something pretty minor. Yeah, it's yucky finding a hair in your food. It happens. Most people just suck it up and move on. But I also don't think there's any shame in being like, hey, I found this hair in here, just was hoping I could maybe place another order or get this replaced. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Just being respectful about it because, you know, accidents happen. It's something that just unfortunately happens from time to time. I'm a legitimate hypochondriac, and even I, when I find a hair in my food, pick it out and still finish it. But I do understand why someone wouldn't. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong to be like, hey, can I, maybe just place another order? I think that's fine. There's no reason to call the manager over, yell at them, and then demand another round of drinks and threaten to leave a nasty review, right? Like, I think that's blowing it way out of proportion. Now let's move on to the second manager report. James Corden was at Balthazar with his wife on October 9th for brunch. He asked for a table outside. Brunch maitre d' Allie Walters took the party to table 301. Mr. Corden's wife ordered an egg yolk omelet with Gruyere cheese and salad. A few minutes after they received the food, James called the server, MK, and told her there was a little bit of egg white mixed with the egg yolk. MK informed the floor manager, G. The kitchen remade the dish, but unfortunately sent it with home fries instead of salad. That's when James Corden began yelling like crazy to the server, "You can't do your job. You can't do your job. Maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelet myself." MK was very apologetic and brought G over to the table. He returned the dish, and after that, everything was fine. He gave them promo champagne glasses to smooth things out. G said that Corden was pleasant to him but nasty to the server. MK was very shaken, but professional that she is, continued to finish her shift. So this one I think is a little bit more indicative of the real personality of James Corden. If something is slightly not up to his standards, he loses his temper about it. I think that's very par for the course from all the stories I've read about him, from workers as well as people that have met him, as well as that brief segment where you can see him kind of blowing up in the comedy sketch at his expense. He just seems like the kind of person that is very entitled and feels like they're superior to just normal people around him. So in that entitlement, he fucking blows up at them. Oh, I'll go back there and cook it then. You guys can't do your jobs. Disgusting. I spit on you fucking plebeians. This is disgraceful. You sent me a dish with house fries instead of a salad? Are you trying to kill me? This is poison. And the fact that he shamelessly has done this twice now, and this one apparently in front of his wife, blows my mind. How anyone can do this in front of other people, especially people they care about, is something that will never compute with me. How do you not get embarrassed? No, this isn't like a tough guy thing. This doesn't make you look alpha. This doesn't make you look like a strong man. This makes you look like a little bitch. You look like an absolute douchebag, weak little man. As Keith calls him, a tiny cretin of a man. Why are you getting so upset at the server who did nothing to slight you? They didn't insult you. Everything that happened wasn't on purpose. It wasn't an attack against you. Sending the dish with house fries instead of a salad is an easy solution. Just be like, I actually wanted the salad. And then bang, they'll go get you the salad, I imagine. They're not going to sit there and like challenge you to fisticuffs like, I will not get you the salad, and I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Oh, put him up, Corden. Like, it's just such an easy thing to calmly handle. But I guess not for James Corden here. So these were the two manager reports. Now, of course, this isn't anything like crazy. James Corden didn't flip the table and throw water in the face of the server or anything. But even still, this kind of behavior I never have any tolerance for. There is just never an excuse to be rude, mean, nasty, yell and scream at anyone in the service industry. You know, for honest mistakes, you know, there's no excuse for it. Now, if the servers were coming up to him and slapping him around and telling him, hey, idiot, you're stupid, and I hate your talk show, you know, like, then maybe I'd understand him being like, hey, you know, that kind of hurts. I'm a little upset about that. But they're just doing their job, right? They're just doing their job and getting by. There's just never a reason to be mean to someone in the service industry. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because whenever James Corden fails and makes a fool of himself, I can't help but smile and just take it back from a distance as a spectator sport and be like, yep, that's James Corden for you. You guys are seeing this, right? So you know I was right. Even though I know most people agree that James Corden isn't entertaining. So it's a very cold take, but it's one that I just keep mentioning anytime that it's brought up. So really, that's about it. So yeah, I've said this before, and now it's time to dust it off and say it again. And I don't care whose feelings get hurt by this. Just like a suppository, I don't care if your ass gets sore. It's time to hit you with the truth. It is extremely embarrassing when somebody makes one thing their entire personality. Whether that's being a fan of a show, being a fan of a band, or expanding beyond it. If you have like a shtick that becomes a meme, making that meme your entire brand and your entire life. I find that to be cringe. And the internet is, of course, a portal to cringe. So let's show you who I believe to be the most sad specimen when it comes to this phenomenon. Salt Bae. Salt Bae is a restaurant owner who rose to fame because he sprinkles salt down his arm like this while wearing goofy sunglasses. He looks like a time traveler from a steampunk dystopia. He took off as a meme and kind of a joke online, but then that meme got made into real flesh. He adopted that as part of his soul, and it has now become his entire identity. He translated all of that online buzz into real-world success, so his restaurants are actually quite popular. And they're known for extremely overpriced food, most notably this abomination. This is a steak wrapped in edible gold, and I think it looks truly awful. That shit looks like a poorly wrapped Christmas present, but what's even worse here is Salt Bae himself, the Santa Claus of meat. He comes to the table when you order something like this and puts on a little song and dance. So he cuts up the gold steak, and then he hits it with his signature anime finishing move where he sprinkles the salt down his arm, and then he grabs a piece of the steak on a knife and then dangles it over any woman at the table's face. He just like dangles the meat over there like he's at like a petting zoo or something, and then the women are expected to like lift up and then bite the meat off of his knife. It's pretty embarrassing to watch. Like, I can only imagine going there and seeing your girlfriend do that. You'd be like, damn, this is expensive and I feel like I'm getting cucked, even though everyone's clothes are still on. It's just, I think it's goofy, very silly, but overall, it's harmless cringe. But as is so often the case with these memers turned celebrities, he flew too close to the sun. I think this shtick was never entertaining. I never really saw the comedy stylings of sprinkling salt down his arm to be gut-busting or anything. But it's not like it bothered me either that he got popular from it. But he became way too pretentious with it, and to the point where he felt entitled to be on the field during the World Cup when Argentina won. So he went onto the field after Argentina won the World Cup, and he tried to make the entire trophy ceremony and everything about him. If you go to his Instagram, it's so many pictures of him holding the World Cup, you'd think he was part of the team that won it, even though he had nothing to do with it. And then he also has that picture in the bottom right that looks like he actually fished a piece of poop out of a toilet at one of his restaurants and was playing with it. So he was rightfully getting dunked on by everyone on the internet for this shit, and I just want to show you some of his worst moments here because, man, it is so bad. By far the worst one is him trying to get Messi's attention. So you can see him kind of like harassing him and yanking on him to try and get Messi to acknowledge him. Kind of like a toddler trying to get his dad's attention. But Messi's having no part of it. He's actually celebrating with the people that matter to him and his team, his family. And he doesn't give a fuck about Salt Bae pestering him for like a photo for his Instagram. It's so embarrassing to look at. Now, apparently, Salt Bae and Messi have met before. He wasn't like a complete stranger, but Messi just ate at one of his restaurants and Salt Bae fed him a piece of food. Like, it's not like they were inseparable friends or something. And the gall to go out on the field after the World Cup win and act like you're somehow best buddies with everyone on the team is so laughable and pathetic. It was so bad, in fact, that now FIFA is investigating how he even got on the field in the first place, because they're not entirely sure. The leading theory is that he was able to get on the field because he's somewhat friends with the FIFA commissioner, like the head of the FIFA org. So that's the leading theory, but even that's not 100% certain from what I've read. But yeah, let's take a peek at some of those videos he filmed because, man, they're classics. Just like taking a trophy from a baby. So Salt Bae continues to like yank on the trophy until finally the player just relinquishes control to it, and Salt Bae hoists it up as if he's somehow responsible for it. He also shakes his finger no to the baby, letting him know that it's his turn, it's his trophy, he fucking deserved it. He put nutrients in that team's body one time fucking 4 years ago. So he's just as much a part of the crew as anyone else there. He has every right to this trophy. The delusion is remarkable. It should almost be studied. And of course you can't go for a single video without hitting him with that salt sprinkle. Because man, that's so good. It's so iconic even, man. You can't get enough of that one. Man, that guy's face really tells the whole story. That discomfort. Faking a smile, but his eyes are just beyond annoyed. Wondering who is this guy and why is he squeezing on my hand and trying to grab the trophy from me? This one's a real quick one, hitting him with a wow and then spanking the trophy, giving it a little slap on the keister there. And you can see yet another player very uncomfortable with Salt Bae's presence. He's just this like miasma of uncomfortableness. He swoops in like this absolute plague of awkwardness. He shouldn't be there, and everyone knows it, and he is there, ruining the moment. It's so fucking weird. Oh, here's a great one for the scrapbook. Yeah, biting on his medal there. I'm sure he really liked that. A guy that he is not friends with, doesn't even really know, coming out of nowhere for a photo op, and then surprising biting on the medal. Though I guess in Salt Bay's defense, the medal does look a bit like a waffle, so maybe he got a little confused. Maybe he was hungry. There were a couple more sightings of Salt Bay out there making a fool out of himself, but I think these are by far the worst, so there's no reason to keep dunking your head in here into the cringe. I just wanted to make it very clear that this is some absolute clown behavior. I never think it's a good idea to try and make one thing your entire identity. Whether it's a meme, whether it's you just being a fan of something, I always think that that's always just going to be a path to cringe. Just imagine getting a huge ego because you sprinkle salt down your arm on overpriced steak. This isn't the only case of this happening though, by the way, and I've talked about one other before that I'll briefly mention here since it's related. You might remember during E3 a couple of years ago when Keanu Reeves made a surprise appearance. There was that "you're breathtaking" moment that, captured the world and tugged on everyone's heartstrings. Well, the audience member who shouted out, "No, you're breathtaking," which became a huge, online deal. The guy who shouted that tried to make an entire career just off of that one line, that one moment, trying to capture that lightning in a bottle over and over again. He became a YouTuber and streamer who tagged everything with hashtag "you're breathtaking" or hashtag breathtaking and called himself the breathtaking guy. I think. I can't quite be certain if he called himself the breathtaking guy. I don't really remember exactly what he gave himself, but I do remember everything he did. He did it with the "you're breathtaking" as the forefront. That was his whole brand and that was his whole online identity, and tried to make a career out of it. It didn't really work. It kind of worked in the beginning because it was still like a wholesome moment and it didn't seem like he was trying to clout chase off of just that one thing. But then it lasted for over a year. Like, I still kept up with him like a year later to see if he was still doing it, if he'd finally graduated from that and started to maybe pivot into a different kind of shtick or even no shtick at all and just being a streamer or a YouTuber. But he never did in the entire time I was checking in on him. It was always going by the "you're breathtaking" moment to try and make that his thing. And it didn't pan out super well. Last I saw, he was streaming to about 10 viewers at the time. And I just felt really bad for him because this is one of those moments where you have this huge blow up almost overnight because of one thing that you did that everyone loved. So you want to keep doing that because everyone loved it, but then you wear it out. It overstays its welcome. And then eventually you end up in a position like Salt Bay, where it's just kind of washed up, it's run its course, and now you just look silly for continuing to embrace it and continuing to try and sell that. So I just wanted to bring this up because I think Salt Bay is a bit of a loser, especially for this World Cup shit. That's about it. See ya. Growing up, I never understood the hype or obsession over celebrity couples, like a power couple where fans just celebrate that they're in love or whatever and they're fainting anytime they see a picture of them holding hands. Just like a growth spurt, I just never got it. Why would you care so much about two strangers' relationship? I always wrote it off as just being part of this super fan culture that I just didn't understand. I know in the modern day it's very rare for people to just casually enjoy something. If you like something, you have to fucking love it. You have to live, breathe, and sleep that thing that you like. We've seen it a lot over the years with K-pop, where K-pop stans will obsess and go wild over even the smallest things, like if their favorite singer posts a picture of them eating a hot dog online. They'll cross-reference that photo with all known databases, go to a cutting-edge laboratory using the latest forensics analysis tools in order to figure out where the photo was taken, where the hot dog was purchased, so they can go there in the real world and try and fish through the trash can looking for the wrapper that they threw away so they can frame it on their wall. It's just this level of investment in strangers that I've never really understood. Until now. As a 29-year-old man, I've had my eureka, come to Jesus moment. I get it. Because I have become very invested and fascinated with a celebrity relationship, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. It's this never-ending disaster, this tragic play that keeps getting new acts added to it that I could have never predicted. It all started last year with the infamous slap where Will Smith slapped the devil out of Chris Rock on stage after Chris Rock made a joke about his wife Jada. And that signature anime finishing move with the slap actually pumped the brakes on his entire career. There were a lot of projects that he was involved with that dropped him, or just a lot of other projects that didn't want to touch him after this. So his whole career came to a screeching halt, all from the old 5 fingers to the face moment. And since then, there's been more and more information that's come out about their relationship that just makes it baffling and so weird. Like, even prior to the slap, we had those uncomfortable moments where Jada invited Will Smith onto her show, where she just openly admitted to cheating on him and like having an entanglement with a much younger man, right to Will's face as he looks on in agony and sadness. And it spawned a lot of memes where Will Smith was, done up to look like Pain from Naruto and all of that. Because, I mean, it's rough. Like, it's really rough to just watch her giggle and laugh about cheating on Will, who seems very much still in love with her. And they always kept up this act that, they're strong together, they're still together, this and that. And now, today, Jada has revealed that her and Will have actually been separated since 2016. She has a book coming out pretty soon, and there was a little special filmed with Jada where she states that they've actually not been together in 7 years now.
Because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce.
Hey, can someone let Will Smith know that? I'm pretty sure this is the first time he's hearing it. You're telling me you guys actually split up in 2016? So he just sunk his career like the Titanic over his ex-wife? But then if that's the case, why would he say, keep your wife's name out of your mouth? Right? Like, that's just not adding up. I feel like she's just making this shit up. For the last year, I've paid attention to this relationship, and it feels like every opportunity she has to hurt Will publicly, she pounces on with a smile on her face. It's like, it's diabolical. Like, she reveals some very embarrassing things about their relationship publicly. She openly talks about how she preferred her previous relationship to Will, though she doesn't use that language. It makes it very clear with some of the things she's posted that she was happier before Will. At least that's the impression myself and many others get with a lot of the things that she posts about. It's just brutal. It's like being married to your biggest Twitter hater. Like someone who's just leaving the most deep-cut comments that actually hurt you on Twitter. It's like being in a relationship with them for 20 years. At least that's how it comes across. She does not seem to respect or even like Will at all. She is always running the bus over him any chance she gets. This is a bombshell. Claiming that they've actually been split since 2016, that doesn't even make sense. Now, apparently, she's claiming that it was a private decision they reached together, but in order to keep up public appearances because they weren't ready to reveal it, they kept pretending like they were still married. But that just doesn't track. That doesn't make sense, because if that was the case, why would Will publicly slap the fuck out of Chris Rock and ruin his career over this if he didn't think you guys were still married? That wouldn't make sense.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, And we hadn't figured that out.
It's not quantum science we're talking about here. You just say that you're not together anymore. You would have saved both yourself and Will so much shame during the entire entanglement scandal if you had just said, hey, we actually separated 7 years ago. There is nothing to gain by keeping up a facade that you are still married and, in love together when you're not, especially when you're fucking other dudes, right? Why would you not just say, hey, we're not together anymore, really? Like, it's just like the easiest thing in the world. You'd have to try so much harder to not say that and just bear all of the spitballs that were being shot at you for cheating. If you weren't actually cheating, then it should have been so much easier to just be like, hey, whoa, guys, look, we wanted to keep things private, but, now things have hit the public sector, thanks to me talking about this on my talk show, and it's probably about time that we state we haven't been together for 7 years. And it would have been so much smoother for both Will and Jada. But again, I just don't believe this. I really don't. And this sounds super parasocial, but Will looks like he's perpetually going through life heartbroken, like in a trance, like this rain cloud over his head, while he stays with Jada, and she comes up with creative new ways of embarrassing him. Just nefarious plot to constantly publicly humiliate the guy. He just stopped his career for a whole year by slapping the man that he believed disrespected his wife. You're telling me that he did that knowing that you two weren't actually together? I don't believe that. An act which, by the way, she didn't appreciate. Like, even when it happened, she seemed to, like, publicly condemn it. And now she's talking about it again, saying that she initially thought it was a skit. I was like, there's no way that Will hit him. It wasn't until Will started to walk back to his chair that I even realized it wasn't a skit. And then she said, as soon as they were alone, she asked Will, "Are you okay?" I'm not this man's psychiatrist, but I'll just tell ya, he's not looking okay here. This really feels like a plot twist that Jada pulled out of her ass and isn't some mutually agreed upon thing. Like, I understand there's been rumors over the years that Will had some kind of affair with Margot Robbie at some point, though I don't think any of those claims have been substantiated. I think those were only ever just rumors. But Jada herself confirms an affair with somebody else. I just feel like Will and Jada aren't on the same page with that separation. But hey, then again, who knows? Celebrity couples are fucking weirdos. And this is by far the weirdest couple. And it's not even close. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised if Jada truly did just make this up because it's a really big headline and attention grabber, so it'd be great for marketing for her upcoming book. The book's not fully out yet, so we don't know all of the, details behind everything or what all it's going to dive into. But just making a claim like this, a statement that they've actually been separated for 7 years as some kind of, like, big plot twist is huge for marketing for her book. So I really feel like there's a chance she did just make that up for that reason, and Will is as surprised as everyone else reading it right now. So, I could be wrong though. Maybe they are truly a great team. They agree that they've been separated for 7 years, and Will still just sank his career for a relationship he's not even in anymore. Who knows? I just wanted to talk about this because I just find them to be a very interesting couple that I have become invested in learning about over the last year. That's really about it. See ya. I talk about a lot of worthless nonsense that I just find goofy and entertaining, but what I'm about to talk about today, what I'm about to start yapping and blabbering on about, has to be a new gold standard for the most trivial. This is more meaningless than a filler arc in Naruto, yet I can't help but care about it. Like, my voice is cracking because I'm almost embarrassed that I actually care. I read about this, like, right before leaving the gym, and for some reason I thought about it the entire drive home. So I got home, put my Skechers down because I'm one of the few people under the age of 60 and over the age of 9 that wear Skechers, and I just marched up here and I'm like, you know what? I need to talk about it. So it's about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm sure all of you know that name. He's one of the biggest celebrities in America. I don't think you could find a place in this nation that hasn't at least heard of The Rock. Fucking Narnia probably knows about this guy. He is huge. And he recently posted an Instagram video that seemed innocent enough on the surface, but if you dive a bit deeper, it actually gets quite nefarious. It's about his supposedly first time trying In-N-Out. In-N-Out is a fast food chain. I'm sure a lot of you know that. It has like a cult-like following. People love In-N-Out. They fight tooth and nail for the honor of In-N-Out. Like, when I've tried it and I thought it was fine. I didn't think it like changed my life or anything. It didn't make me more attractive or taller. It wasn't a game changer, but it was fine food. But some people go crazy for it. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson apparently just tried it for the first time. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want to let the audio play because it's just DMCA music. And basically the whole video is him going to In-N-Out drive-thru and people just going crazy to see The Rock. This is supposed to be his cheat meal with In-N-Out, and it's his first time ever trying it. He's going to see what all the hype's about. But basically the whole video kind of plays out like autofellatio. It's The Rock just sucking his own dick. Like, hey, you just call me handsome? I don't speak Spanish. Is that what you said to me? That kind of thing. And then he makes his order here. He gets like his big meal. It's just complete throwaway garbage here. There's more empty calories in this video than there is in the french fries that The Rock is buying here. The video is honestly less about In-N-Out and more about just The Rock being famous. Like, this whole video is just The Rock showcasing he's famous and filming people's reaction to them seeing him in all of his benevolent glory. He is an angel, and he is blessing them with his presence. He couldn't even be bothered to do the bare minimum of eating the meal on camera, so we were denied a Rock mukbang. What a shame. But here's his caption: "My first ever In-N-Out burger experience. Rolled up in my pickup and tried to be cool AF with my order." And then emojis for car and sunglasses. God. But I didn't know the lingo. Didn't know who to pay, where to pay. I didn't know shit. What do you mean you didn't know the lingo? You just place an order. I don't know why he's pretending. You know, it's not like this is complicated jargon. But I'm a quick study. Loved everyone's positive vibes in there. Holy shit, it's The Rock energy. God, he just can't. No one has The Rock's dick in his mouth more than he does. Like, good God. Goodness gracious. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? It's his own wiener. Oh my lord. His favorite meal. Love the grub, and love how everyone in the drive-thru looked at me like I have 3 heads when I gave them a tip. Thank you, In-N-Out, for being awesome. I'll see you down the road. So it clearly reads like it's supposed to be some kind of promotional thing for In-N-Out here. And it's all just standard celebrity trash, but this is the 3rd time he's done it. He keeps pretending that he's trying In-N-Out for the first time every couple of years. Why? Why are you lying about that? You could just say, like, I love In-N-Out, so I'm going back to In-N-Out. Let's go. Can't wait for more In-N-Out. Why does it always have to be your first time? We know it's not. So there was 2 articles written about this, like, why does The Rock keep lying about it? And I have no fucking idea. Why would you just keep lying about it being your first time going to In-N-Out? The other 2 videos are still on your Instagram page. It makes no sense to me. It's like the weakest lie ever. I remember when I was a child, I used to do lies like this for April Fool's Day, where I would tell my friends that the Buccaneers quarterback Brad Johnson was retiring, and they'd be like, is he really? And I'd go, nope, I gotcha. It's like, what? Why are you even lying about that? It's so lame.
It's history in the making. It is Sunday night, approximately 11 p.m. It is Cheat Meal Sunday for all of us around the world, certainly for me here. And the reason why this is history in the making is because this is the very first time that I have ever tried an In-N-Out burger, or In-N-Out fries, or anything from In-N-Out for that matter. Now, I've picked up some In-N-Out burger before through the drive-thru a few times for some buddies of mine. I've never tried it, so this is a first.
That's such a convenient excuse. I've been through the drive-thru, but I've never actually eaten it. I've only ever picked it up for other people. That's like the timeless classic of, oh no, those aren't my drugs. I was actually just holding them for a friend. Now, he has a post from 2017, once again, through the In-N-Out drive-thru, but he doesn't have any evidence of him eating the meal, so I guess I can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt if he tried the In-N-Out meal when he bought it for the people in his vehicle. I would wager a guess that he has, because he keeps pretending like he doesn't even know what the fuck In-N-Out is, practically. He doesn't know how to go through the drive-thru or how to pay, according to his most recent Instagram post. So I don't know if the Men in Black keep coming around and neuralizing him every time he eats In-N-Out so he forgets entirely, or if this is just the weirdest marketing idea ever. I don't really get it. But I have said for about 5 or 6 years now that The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood. I truly believe that. I grew up a huge fan of The Rock. In the WWE, he was probably one of my favorites. Not up there with Kane, but pretty close. He cut the best promos. And to this day, if I had a nickel for every single time I said, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Or if I imitated the people's elbow, man, shit, I'd be able to own In-N-Out by now. Like, he had a big impact on my childhood, but as he made it more into the mainstream consciousness, and as his fame grew, I feel like his soul kept getting chipped away at, whittled away, and now he's just this husk, this hollow shell that PR firms speak through. Like, every time he tries to vocalize something that's supposed to resemble his own thought or opinion, it feels like the most PR speak shit ever. Like, all of these PR suits are just using him like a fucking fleshlight, like this puppet, a ventriloquism act, where they are talking through The Rock. What really cemented that for me was when he went on Joe Rogan recently. I haven't listened to Rogan in quite a long time, but when The Rock was on, I was very interested to see if he would finally come out of his shell here and actually speak his mind. And he barely spoke at all. The whole episode was mainly crickets. Like, he barely engaged with anything because it seems like The Rock only vocalizes what his team allows him to. Like, it has to be the most filtered responses and statements imaginable. He's just so fucking fake, and this in-and-out madness was just a cherry on top of it. Another thing, I'm getting way off topic now, but another thing with The Rock that always rubbed me the wrong way since it happened was about a year ago, he was a brief guest on Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So he was there to promote the Black Adam trailer, but Summer Games Fest was supposed to be like a celebration of games and talking about all of that. And The Rock sent in a video that he absolutely threw together in like 30 seconds, but he couldn't even go through that video without plugging his own fucking drink. Like, come on, you're already there just to promote a movie and you're still going to promote something else as well? He only has one mode, and that's sales mode. That's it. He didn't engage with the community at all. He couldn't even pretend to care about Summer Games Fest or Jeff Keighley's production or really gaming in general. He just can't even put on a facade that he gives a fuck about anything beyond just selling himself. Like, even in this In-N-Out clip that I showed you, the second one where he pretended that he, trying it for the first time, let me show you how it actually ends. Check this out.
They're called double doubles, loaded with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, and cheese. Of course, we got fries here. Get this. The fries are good. So we're off to a good start. Now, the question becomes, I have the one and only Terramana tequila. What is going to pair best with, you know what? I'm the founder of Terramana, so fuck it. We make up the rules. So I'm going to go with Blanco and Reposado. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure this is. My very first In-N-Out burger. Oh, that is a good combo. Here we go.
Yeah, he couldn't even eat a meal without plugging his own shit. That's all he is doing anymore. He just says what his PR firm wants him to say, nothing else, never doing anything that even resembles like his actual personality or his actual thoughts. And then he is just constantly selling his own products and selling himself. That's it. Like, that is so fucking sad. So yeah, just a really weird thing here that he keeps pretending that he's never had In-N-Out. So every year or a couple of years, he'll be like, oh, I'm trying In-N-Out for the first time. In fact, I'm pretty sure he even ordered the same exact thing last week as he did in this video from 2022, the one I just showed you. I'm pretty sure he made the exact same order as well. So he's probably a regular at In-N-Out. Like, he has his order down to a science. I just don't get why he keeps pretending for that. But I'm also not surprised because he actually is just super fake across the board. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. A super, super meaningless topic that I just got passionate about. That's it. See ya. I want to start this video off by celebrating something important that's a little unrelated to the overall topic of the video, but one that calls for celebration. So let's pump our fists and wiggle our fingers together as we say rest in peace to James Corden's Late Late Show. That's right, it's finally over. We've survived the bubonic plague of bad television. James Corden's show is off the air officially, and I also love that now we have like some classified documents finally releasing that confirms what we all knew. That nobody fucking watched James Corden's show. It was a colossal flop. It was losing $20 million a year apparently before they finally decided to take it behind the barn and put it down for good, just execute it. There is nobody in the world that likes James Corden. I've said it for years now. He's like one of the only unifying things our planet has to offer. We all have our differences, but somewhere embedded deep in our DNA is this common ground of disliking James Corden. And for some reason, his shows existed for so fucking long now. It was always a mystery, and I thought maybe I was just boofing crazy pills and like he had huge fans, but clearly not. They were losing so much money on him, and now they finally decided to stop the bleeding. It's just such a breath of fresh air. Already the world looks more colorful and less gray now that the Late Late Show is dead and buried, just put 6 feet under in its coffin. No more carpool karaoke. I feel like the possibility for our species are limitless now. It's like in Gurren Lagann when humanity goes from living underground fucking cave-dwelling troglodytes to breaching into the surface world, and then they start evolving at a rapid rate. I feel like that's where we're at right now because carpool karaoke is no longer keeping us buried. You know, that was the single thing preventing us from reaching a Type 2 spacefaring civilization. It's so nice. Now let's get to the actual topic of today's video. Enough celebrating the end of the Late Late Show. I'm sure many of you have heard about this massive writers' strike that's going on right now, where the Writers Guild of America is protesting, so they've all stopped their work in the industry at the moment. There's a lot of reasons for it, but really the primary takeaways are they're not being fairly compensated for their work when it comes to streaming services. So right now they're paid a single fixed residual that aren't tied to viewer numbers and no additional payments that come through when the show shuffles between different streaming services. An example they give is one of the writers for Jane the Virgin is only receiving 1 to 2 cents for their residual checks, which is far from the norm or acceptable. And that's because streaming content has blown up recently, and for the industry itself, it's still pretty new. So they're not really getting the compensation that they should be, especially when compared to other aspects of the entertainment industry like normal movies or normal TV shows. So streaming is still in that weird gray area where they're getting face fucked when it comes to their compensation, and now they're protesting, looking for more appropriate compensation and fairer pay for it, which I think is totally reasonable. None of these shows happen without the writers. I understand the A-list actors and celebrities are always going to put asses into seats and make swamp-ass thrones as people are glued to it for these characters, but those characters are written by these writers, and without them, they'd be fucking flat and worthless. The effect of writers on the actual medium is severely overlooked by just normal viewers, I feel. I've seen real brain rot takes on this from Twitter about how the writers aren't even important to the shows to begin with, which is mind-boggling that we've reached a point where there's a lot of viewers that are unable to wrap their head around the entire show they watch is constructed by these writers. Without them, it doesn't exist, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't work. So it's super weird that people are trying to belittle their role in the industry and downplay their importance, even going as far as to call this whole strike a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, hocus-pocus nonsense and that they're entitled. It's so fucked up. Like, for some reason now people are taking up arms in order to protect billionaires in their right to exploit writers like this. I think it's fucking stupid. Like, again, the writers make the shows happen. It's not like your favorite actors that are in these shows go in there and fucking improv every single one of their lines. That's just not how it works. So yeah, I do agree that the writers deserve better pay, especially because streaming has blown up so much, and yet the pay for writers hasn't grown with it. This sector has exploded, yet for some reason the writers have been left behind when it comes to their compensation. So I think the strike is totally within their right to do. I think it's a good thing. And if you don't believe me that it's a good thing, how about I just show you some of the proof that's in the pudding right now? Get ready, because I'm about to give you a fucking enema of good news. This writer's strike has already been huge W's across the board for anybody with eyes, because since they're striking, a lot of terrible shows have had to go on hiatus, had to go dark. That includes every late night talk show, baby. Every single fucking one of these late night parasites have had to go off air because, of course, they don't write their own material. They're not like real comedians anymore. They don't make fucking jokes on their own. It's all fed to them by these writers. And now that they're striking, they have nothing. Thus, they've had to stop the programs. So no Jimmy Kimmel, no Jimmy Fallon. We're getting everything fucking purged right now and on break, and it feels so good to not have to have YouTube inundated with fucking god-awful late show talk clips. Oh my god, it feels amazing. So there's already a huge W there, already seeing some great stuff from the writer's strike, some good results. But if you want the best possible news from the writer's strike, you know what else is severely affected? Big Mouth. The worst show ever produced by human beings is currently getting hammered because of this writer's strike. It is unable to continue production as of the moment, and we can only pray, have our fingers crossed, that they will just shut down the upcoming season and call it quits. Just put the kibosh on the entire series, because Big Mouth fucking sucks. Just close your eyes and envision this utopia with me. No James Corden Late Late Show. No Big Mouth. That is a serene existence. That would actually unlock the full potential of our brains. It'd be like taking that pill from Limitless. We would fucking invent teleportation technology the next day. Now, even better news, even if Big Mouth does unfortunately continue, if we're cursed for another season of Big Mouth, it's the final season. So there won't be any after that, which that's great news, but it's bittersweet because we could just not have that season air to begin with. So regardless, though, Big Mouth on the horizon is soon to be finished, kaput, which is fantastic. I also forgot one other big one that's currently going dark. Another stinker. Saturday Night Live! Saturday Night Live is also affected by the writer's strike, so they're unable to currently continue as is. So just a lot of good W's all around here. Now, there is more to the purpose behind the strike. It wasn't all for the compensation. There is another component to this that I think it's worth mentioning here. They're also wanting to regulate AI when it comes to the industry. AI is also exploding and it is evolving at an unbelievably fast rate, which is of course a legitimate concern here. AI is already fucking wild. It is frightening how good it's gotten in such a short period of time, and it's still very primitive. It is still very early on in this technology, so it's only going to get better and more refined. So what the Writers Guild is looking for here is some regulation where the AI can't be trained off of their works. Their works would be protected, so that way the AI can't be building models based around their scripts, can't be like generating scripts of their own based on their work, and also they can't really be using AI to go through and change some of their work or undermine it and shit like that. It's just looking for some level of protection for the writers. It doesn't seem like they're trying to completely outlaw it, make it illegal when it comes to AI in the writing room, or forbid it entirely, because AI can be used as a good tool for writers as well. It's just looking for some level of like regulation or just some openness to discuss how they can utilize AI in different ways there. At least that's how I understand it. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like they're just trying to get rid of it entirely from the writing process. So yeah, overall, wishing the best for the writers here with the strike. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem like the powerful suits out there are really responding at all to it in any meaningful capacity at the moment. It seems like the attitude's kind of just rub some fucking dirt in it, get over it kind of thing. But I guess we'll see how that goes when their biggest programs start to feel the effects of the strike, because the WGA is huge. They do a lot of writing. So I guess we'll see how everything plays out, but just want to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya.